Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH BaHashem, YAHAWASHI BaHashem, Barak Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim, YAHAWAH, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity. This is Brother Cobble Club coming at you with another lesson. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Now today's lesson is going to be entitled, not necessarily entitled, but I don't know what I'm going to entitle this, but basically people really, I just thought of something that I heard some people saying, and it's like people are allergic to accountability. The reason why I say this is because the thing is, people think that if you do something, like let's say for example, okay, if you cheat on a test, all right, and or let's say you bring a calculator, all right, into a math test, all right, and clearly the implication is that you're cheating rather than doing the work and displaying that you actually have the knowledge and the know-how on how to do certain things. Okay, so as a result of that, that's where people feel like people may say the fact that you aren't letting us bring our calculators or better yet our phones, let's say phones, even better. Okay, the fact that you're not letting us bring your phones, you're stopping our free will. You're not letting us do whatever we want. You're being so controlling and whatnot. And that's another thing, which it is people in this society, and this is really more so of a rant. All right, because I hear so many times people complaining about free will, as well as people being controlling and whatnot, even with like in relationships and whatnot. When a man has self-respect, if he says he doesn't want his woman doing X, Y, and Z, then he's considered controlling and whatnot. I literally saw this one video where this dude or this I forgot it was one of those dating stuff. It was one girl versus 6 guys and whatnot. And then all the guys were taking turns saying some stuff. Basically, it was like this one girl said, "I have a lot of guy friends. Are you guys okay with that?" And then they all went down the line. And the two that stuck out to me, one of them said, "Yeah, I live with my mom. That's fine. Is that cool with you?" Basically, like kind of being a bit petty, playful, or trying to just be, vindictive or something. And then the next dude said, "Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine that you have a lot of guy friends. I have a lot of girlfriends as well." And then when it was time to eliminate one of the guys, rather than eliminating the dude that said, "Oh yeah, I still live with my mom and whatnot," she eliminated the dude that said, I have a lot of girlfriends." So you see the hypocrisy and you see the lack of accountability. Like and Slocky, even though that is just in one small instance, you have to understand that that application applies into everyone, be they man, woman, because man, woman, child, adult, worker, whatever. And the reason why is because the thing is that people don't like authority. They don't care about authority, and even still, when it comes to us, like say a man and whatnot, we are still subject to our head, because the head of the woman is the head of the children is the woman. The head of the woman is the man. The head of the man is YAHAWASHI, and the head of YAHAWASHI is YAHAWAH. Okay, so by extension, the head of man is the God that he worships. All right, but the thing is that people in general expect YAHAWAH to just be lenient and allow the men to do whatever they want, be it disrespect YAHAWAH or and whatnot, because that's the exact same application that people apply to men and women, where the women are acting as if they are the boss of the men, and so on and so forth, like as the thing goes. All right. So in that hierarchy, the world basically tries to flip, or wants to flip it upside down, where it's the woman as on top. Well, not even slacking. Let me correct that. The children are on top, and that's the reason why I included them in the first place, even though the scripture does not explicitly say that. All right, but that's the reason why I put the children on it, because the children are at the top at being demons as well to their parents, and as well as other people, because that's a big thing now, where I don't know if you saw this video of this one Eve complaining about how kids are just straight up disrespectful, and then obviously you can't do anything to the kids because Esau's just gonna lock you up for putting your hands on the kids, even if the kids can try to stab you, kill you, hit you, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Which I've literally seen a kid literally go behind the legs of this one Edomite woman, or what appeared to be an Edomite woman, and trip her to make her fall. She literally fell, and I think she's still alive. She's okay now, but like, you still got these kids that are doing all these different things, trying to, just being demons. All right, so kids at the top of the hierarchy. Then below them is the woman, then it's the men, then it's the gods. Like, people always try to paint out gods to be, are supposed to be subservient to YAHAWAH and His. And if they, let me say it, okay? Let me say, if it was up to the people, they would just abuse the godly powers of YAHAWAH and His to just allowing them to do whatever sick and twisted stuff that they wanted. It's just, there's no respect to hierarchy. There's no respect to authority. And you know what the irony of it is, that all that power and authority that they have comes from Esau, Edom, a man at the end of the day. All right, you have these women you have these children that start at the top. You have these children that are only able to get away with being disrespectful and attacking teachers and whatnot, or being destructive and disruptive, simply because the law protects them more than it protects the actual parental figure, not parental figures, but the authoritative figures in these children's lives. On top of that, whenever there's some sort of domestic dispute between a man and a woman, even if the woman is the one attacking a man first, nobody will bat an eye until after the man hits back, or after the man raises his hand or raises his voice or whatever. Literally, the woman is always going to be blameless, even by the police standards. So once again, as I said before, all these people are protected by Esau, Edom, where Esau is the one that's ruining these people, and even ruining his own people as well, where his people are the one are also complaining. Hell, maybe to a certain degree more than Israelites, about how messed up this society is, where you got these men that don't even want to have children. They don't want to have to get married and whatnot. Like, the desire for men to get married is at an all-time low, and it's because of these freaking people. So slocky about that. But yeah, now this, again, as I said before, this is primarily a rant video. All right, this is how things are rolling. This is how things are going. Okay, so because Esau is, the authority, all right, in this society, in these societies, all right, unlike in other countries where, these women are, for the most part, actually not suffering, but I think in some instances there are some countries that do adopt Esau's customs, but overall, they are they do fall in line and acknowledge their places and whatnot. Where again, it's just like I guess it's just an easier time. Aside from that, continuing on to the whole free will thing, again, it is a matter of a lack of accountability, because if there are rules in place, all right, you can't just say I don't want these rules in place because I feel restrictive, or I feel like I have to change myself because of these rules. Well, that's tough luck, because that's how things are. And that's the thing, where when you go to these like tests, these college tests or something like that, let's say for example, when you go to take a standardized test or something like that, you have to agree to all this stuff. You have to agree to not do that. You have to take this stuff. You have to pay attention. You have to sign up. You have to pay money and all this stuff like that, where it's like, okay, yeah, you're allowed to come here, but if you don't do this, you will be asked to leave. You can't do this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. If you don't follow our rules, we don't want you here. You are not welcome, X, Y, and Z. All right. So again, it's like, and also you're not even allowed to have your phones. But when I went there, I wasn't allowed to have my phone. But I don't know how things have changed comparatively. But anyway, continuing on, the main point is in the example is that they are trying to blur the lines and say that these are restrictions rather than proper rules that people need to follow in order to maintain proper decorum and decency and order. Whereas again, they are painting it out to be something that's a bad thing rather than a good thing. Because if everyone is just cheating and whatnot, then there's no test for you to take. And in addition to that, why if you feel like you can't do it, if you can't do the test, if you feel like you're not capable of doing it on your own, why? That's the thing that I always ask, and I always thought to myself, why do you bother going to whatever place? Why do you bother even showing up to school if you don't want to be there, if you want to just have fun like some monkey? All right, like literally acting like a monkey in terms of like not having any sense to you or any order. All right, so let me get some more precepts so I don't just make this a whole rant. But Proverbs chapter 12 verse 1: whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. Okay, so you got these brutes that just act like monkeys. Again, like that's the best term to use, but they're acting brutish, acting like monkeys, where they have no sense of self-control or like, again, order. Like order is, if you say order, discipline, or submission and all that stuff, people hate those words. All right, they always say I want to do what they always want to say. I want to do what I want. And as a matter of fact, let's go more into these scriptures. Sirach chapter 10 verse 2: as the judges of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. That's Esau, Edom for you, because Esau hates rules. He hates the laws, statutes, and commandments of YAHAWAH. And while you might think, oh, but Esau has all these different rules and laws in place, so of course he likes rules. No, he doesn't. He doesn't even follow those laws himself. All right, and this is a very commonly known thing, where you have people that are going out in the thing, and primarily that I know of. Okay, that's sex trafficking, little kids, sex trafficking, grown-ass adults. All right, blackmailing people. Blackmailing is also a thing. Now, what was I gonna get again? As the people are himself. All right, whatever. Let me just go back. Let me just retrace my steps. So yeah, as the people are as the judges of the people are himself. So yeah, now I remember Slakia. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 16. This is why I try to stay on one topic at a time. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Okay, so yeah, exactly. Esau hates, order. He hates, having things done right. He hates spirituality. All right, he's just a beast, honestly. Okay, he couldn't even wait for the food to cook before Jacob. He couldn't even wait for Jacob to cook the food before eating it. He just ate it raw. Okay, and that's another thing, like where his people love eating fucking nasty ass raw meat. I could never. I've never. All right, I've never done that. All right, like that even when I was so hungry, which is very multiple times. Okay, I've never fucking said, okay, well, I'm just gonna eat this fucking raw ass meat. Like, that shit is nasty. That shit is nasty. Slakia, but yeah, you basically get the point. All right, so yeah, like you got these people that are copying after Esau, Edom, where it's a matter of just like they don't want to. They see how Esau acts. They see how these leaders, these celebrities, these big figureheads act, and they want to be like them. They copy after their tendencies. Okay, and that's been a growing trend. Which I know I've said this multiple times before, but with the whole alphabet stuff, before these politicians had their secret lovers and whatnot, doing all that stuff behind closed doors. Okay, it was literally a secret. And then after I think 2005, I don't know, 2003, 2005, then they made that shit legal. Okay, what year did they do it? Let me get this. Exactly. In the early 2000s, some politicians did keep their, can I say that? I must not say that. Their stuff private, while others chose to be open about it. That's bullshit. Well, you get the picture. I'm talking about, let me just look at it. 2003. So yeah, it was at this time, early 2000s, where they were doing it behind closed doors. They didn't want anyone to know, and then after after it became legal, then that's when they came out like, oh yeah, we've been doing this for I don't know how many years. And then now you also have people. You have a lot of celebrities that are going behind closed doors and sleeping with kids as well. Or given that there was one video, I think his name Young Pharaoh did, where he showed a video of a bunch of little kids in I think some weird outfits, and I forgot what it was. I think it was Epstein Island. I think it was Epstein Island and stuff like that. I forgot where it was from, or I think it was not Epstein, not Sarah Palin. What's that bitch's name? Hillary Clinton. I think it was Clinton, stuff like that, where they were doing that type of stuff like that. Obviously, I don't have the video, and even if I did have the video, I probably wouldn't share it. Okay, but I'm just saying, this is something that I heard. Okay, you can attempt to search it up for yourselves, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. I'm shit. Don't search that shit up. But well, if you want, go ahead. I don't really. Go ahead. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, this is the type of stuff that I heard. This is the type of stuff that I heard. Actually, I literally saw the video when he shared it online. But young Pharaoh's I think YouTube channel is like taking down all of his old stuff, and I don't think anyone. Well, I think you can find it on like Wayback Machine and stuff like that. There might be some archives where you can find it, but aside from that, let me continue on with this lesson. Proverbs 15 verse 5: a fool despises his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. And you know, that's another, and that just goes back into the thing where you have these people that hate correction. They hate to be corrected. They hate when someone says you cannot do that, and when there are set boundaries in place, which, you know, that's the thing with Yahawadah and His. There are set boundaries in place where he says you are not allowed to do this. You cannot do this. Don't eat pork. Okay, but then you say, oh well, you're taking away my free will. Why can't I do this? It's stuff like that. Like, it's like, oh, what the fuck are you telling me? Are you doing? Then if you're gonna do that, then fine. Then don't expect anything good from me. Don't expect any protection. Like, this is a thing. When it comes to authority, all right, you have to. It's a give and take. If you are the one that has to submit to someone in order to receive goods or services. All right, let's go back to the test example. Okay, if you go to take the test at someone's institution, okay, you have to follow their rules. You can't just say you're taking away my thing, you're taking my First Amendment right to say whatever I want, when it's not. This is even in the law. All right, even in the law, it is a private it's a private institution. Okay, when you're in someone's privately owned thing, all the laws are not applicable. All right. If you are in someone else's house, you are obligated to follow their rules, or you have to leave their house. Okay, or not even a house, but an institution. If inside a private institution, like let's say a store, the people in that own the store, let's say a Walmart, are allowed to say, you are not allowed to be here. We do not want you here. You need to leave because you are disruptive and you are causing trouble. Okay. You can't be saying, oh, you're taking away my first free rights and stuff like that, where, again, as I said before, Esau is the one that created these types of dumbasses that don't know how the law works, number one, as well as they don't like rules and regulations in general, all right? Which is like Esau, Edom. And I hope to the Lord that this is recording. Okay, good. Slakia, I got traumatized, by the way, because I was making a lesson before and I was like 30 minutes in or something, or 20 minutes in, and I just realized I wasn't recording. So yeah. Romans chapter 12 verse 3: for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as according as Yahweh hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. So yeah, that's another thing where, you know, you can't be thinking that you're higher than YAHAWASHI, thinking that, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. He needs to adjust to me. Okay, then there are people that there are genuinely people like that. All right, there are also, you know, women that are genuinely like that as well, where they think that a man, they genuinely believe that a man has to go to work. He has to go work for a woman. He gives the woman money, like an allowance or something like that. And then that man also has to go, when he gets home from work, he has to clean and do and serve his wife, all of that shit. So he's making money, giving her the money, and then he's also being a house husband at the same time, while that woman gets to go leave and do whatever the freak she wants, and treating her man like a literal slave. Like, she basically just gets a slave in marriage. And then when you ask, oh, what does a woman bring to the table, then she gets offended and saying a whole bunch of shit and stuff like that. So this is the exact mindset. Again, even though it's not exactly like it, it still translates to people in general and their expectations towards Yahawadah and His, where once again, the way that you translate that is they expect, okay, obviously this doesn't actually happen in real life, but they expect that for their belief in Yahweh, all right, just And when I say belief, I mean just saying, okay, I believe that there's a God. Okay, that's literally it. There's no actions that come with it, where you have to pray, you have to do this, you do that, and whatnot. They're just simply for stating, literally just stating that, oh, I believe in God. Then God has to give you a mansion, $1 million, nicest car, everything, every luxury item you want, and whatever. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to pray. You don't have to, keep His commandments. You don't have to familiarize yourself with the word. Like the Bible is just useless to you. Okay, like that's just there for decorations. That's how people think. Like, this is the reality of the way people think, and it also shows the reverseness. Which, let me get that as well. I think it's Ecclesiastes, but I could be wrong. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So you see the way that the world is upside down. The servants are being exalted on the horses. The princes are being diminished or lowered by walking as the servants. Okay, and in this I guess parable, metaphor, whatever you want to call it, we are the princes. The Israelites are the princes, and the servants are the Edomites. As the scriptures say, the elders shall serve the younger, being Esau shall serve Jacob. Anyway, continuing on, but yeah, like that's basically the thing, how this world is upside down and people expect the superior to obey and follow the inferior. All right. Slack. Get this. Next, Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 18. No, let me get that. Let me move down. Verse Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So this is in terms of us warning, giving the warning and saying, you shouldn't be doing this. You need to have some decorum, have some order. This is the proper way to live. This is the proper way to do things. And, as a result of that, they say, okay, you know what? Yes, I see this, my mistake. I'm going to, I will do better as a result of it now. But then, people get that pride in them, and they, once again, go against the warnings that you give them. All right. They go against the warning where you tell them, hey, I need this or I need that, and or they go against the warning and I want to do this, I want to do that, and then rather than actually abstaining, all right, to have some self-control and say, okay, this is not the best thing to do because I'm not allowed to do it and whatnot, or not necessarily I'm not allowed to do it, but because I'm being requested, or the authority in place does not want me to partake in this activity, all right, then they still just say, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, all right. And again, when you think like that, then it's just like you are basically forfeiting your right, I guess, to protection from the Lord. You're forfeiting favor from YAHAWAH and MANASHAH because the Lord is not obligated to protect some disrespectful, ungrateful piece of trash, all right, that can't follow simple instructions of don't do this or don't do that, all right. But yet you feel a need that, I want to do this, I want to do that, all right. Stop. Slocky. So yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, and whatnot. It's not a matter of just shutting up and doing your own thing. All right. So this is why we warn the people. We let them know now ahead of time. Hey, don't do this, don't do that. This is the best thing. This is not the best thing, and the Lord does not like that. And as a result of that, we give the warning, and then after we give the warning, if they still choose to not listen, and we can't help it, and that's just like, okay, well, there's no responsibility on us for whatever happens or whatever the Lord has happened to you for being rebellious. All right, did I read this already? No, I did not. Not Sirach. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully setting them to do evil. And that's another thing, where because they see that they're not getting judged immediately. Okay, which this is a thing where it's negative reinforcement. Okay, where if you do something bad and someone immediately stops you and says, no, that's wrong, or hits you, or you get some sort of punishment, and that's when they say, okay, well, I see when something bad happens to me, then I'm going to Slocky. When I do something bad, then that means that when I do something bad, then that means that I am going to get something bad to happen to me immediately. It's going to happen to me. And funnily enough, there was a study done with a bunch of kids from multiple different backgrounds, and most of the children, I think it was most, if not all, but most of the children basically said whenever they did something bad, they knew that it was simply because of they got punished because they did something bad. That was basically what the study said. And the study said, I'm gonna try to find it and link in the description. But continuing on, basically, that's another thing where because the Lord does not work that way, where He does not immediately in this time period, Slakia, He doesn't immediately judge or stop people or put curses or something like that. Well, we are under the curse, but He doesn't immediately put evil for the stuff that we do, or judge us for the stuff that we do. Then people think, okay, well, then that means that we can keep on doing it. This is the right thing to do. This is the right way to live. Okay, so this is how people live. All right, but rather the right way to live. All right, let me get this. Philippians chapter 2 verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, so we're supposed to be working out our own salvation, working out our own favor with YAHAWAH in the absence and not in the presence. Okay, even though still, let me get this. I think it's Proverbs 5. I'm gonna go in my notes if I don't get it. 15:5. Bear with me one moment. I know how it says. Crazy. Proverbs 15 verse 3, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So yeah, the Lord sees everything. He sees the good that you do and the evil that you do. So obviously he's tallying that up and accumulating the good that you have and the evil that you choose to do. All right. So yeah, so there's that for your whole freaking free will, where you're actively choosing. But even then, again, free will is not a real concept. You know, the Lord makes us certain ways, which actually, let's get that. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So yeah, basically the way that we are is by YAHAWAH. The Lord made us the way we are now. The Lord made us to be demons that question him every step of the way, or saints that diligently wait on the deliverance, on our deliverance. Okay, you know, whatever uniqueness that you are or I am and whatnot, however different that we are. Okay, you know, there's a lot of different things, but you know, ultimately for the elect, the commonality of it is following after Yahawadah. Sirach chapter 9 verse 11, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. And you know, this is in response to, you know, you seeing, oh yeah, I see this person does a whole bunch of evil. They're stealing from people. They're, you know, using people as footstools in order to get ahead in life. All right, you see that type of behavior, but you can't be envious of that. You can't want to copy that type of lifestyle because you don't know how the Lord's going to handle them at the end of their road. All right, so you know, this is just something to, you know, be aware of. Oh yeah, another one. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, ye shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. You know, this is just favor from the Lord, favor from perils, favor from the up and coming hardships. Because, you know, as of right now, the wicked are enjoying themselves, living it up, whereas for us, we're not. We're going through hardships, as in reference to in 2 Corinthians 4 verse 16 to 18. Okay, continuing on. Verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. All right, so yeah, that's another thing. You know, they're going to dwell in torments. They're going to have to deal with all the wicked, the accumulated wickedness. Okay, because the Lord is long suffering. All right, let's continue on. Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Okay, so yeah, the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. When we see the signs of heaven, when we hear about war and all that stuff, we're happy. We are joyful about the stuff because we know that means that we're just that much closer to the end, that much closer to being delivered. But for the heathen, they're like, oh no, I don't want this to happen. Please, DJT, please don't make their war. Please don't stop the wars and stuff like that. All right, because they want this society to continue on. They want evil to keep on going. They want to keep on going and living their wicked lives rather than having Yahawashi rule over in righteousness. Okay, to correct the stuff and to put actual order and to make people actually start, you know, having some sense. All right, and to make things right side up. And even then, Slakia, let me get that first, because that's a very big thing. And it's very ironic because Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Even now, even though people even though people want Esau to keep on living, these same people, ironically, still will complain about how Esau society is being run, because they know that Esau is a devil. They know that Esau is not making things fair. He's not making things right. He's just not the one that needs to be in charge. He needs to be corrected. Like, the Lord needs to get him out of power. All right. And again, this all goes back into when Yahawashi is in authority. Okay, these people, all of these people are going to love the fact that they're not going to have to deal with all the bullshit trash laws that Esau put in. All right, did you know in certain places, I think it's in America, you are not allowed to shower naked. All right, like, they literally have certain laws that they can just go up in your house and tell you how to live or tell you what to do. All right, like that. And it's lucky. That's another thing where even in your houses, you are not safe. Even in something that you call your own house, that's not even your house. That's the government's house. They're just letting you stay in it. All right. There's so many different laws. There's even a law that states that if the government wants, they can send soldiers to go sleep in your house, and you have to provide for them. All right, like that's the type of stuff that they are doing, that they're not doing, but not yet anyway, but they're on right now, where they have these laws in place to be able to exploit the people. Okay, if like Slocky, it's just ridiculous. And also, you have these what's it called, apartments. I absolutely despise apartments. People should be able to have their own land, but the funny thing is that Esau takes all these big mansions, these wide stretches of land, all right, for one fucking person. Whereas you have all these families sharing one apartment building, extended families, nuclear families, singular people, two people, couples, and stuff like that. Like, these are the wickedness. This is the wickedness of Esau, Edom. All right, Slocky, that's just a personal grievance of mine, but you basically get the point. Next, Isaiah chapter 32, verse 5. The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. All right. So, yeah, like, again, like, Esau acts like he's this liberal person. He's, good. He's all this, but he loves everyone. We need to be accepting and all that, but he's the most vile. He's the most vile. And Slocky, I'm trying to hurry up because my battery's about to die. Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Beautiful. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Esau knows he has a short time. He knows that he's almost out of here. That's why he is planning more and more evil and wickedness to destroy us. All right. And again, emphasis on short time. All right. Short time. It's very soon. Now, finally, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. And, just to end it off, you have these people that always take counsel from Esau, Edom, that always take Esau's advice, always take Esau's philosophies, and this is what is going to lead to their destruction. All right, don't take counsel, don't follow after Esau, Edom. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, BASHEM, YAHAWASHI, BASHEM, WAKWAKWADASH, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, Abad Babal, and Shalom.